check.
Oh my God! Unbelievable! What a fight!
Check. Abe, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh shit, this is low. Why is this so low? All right, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. You sound great. Okay. Appreciate you joining us. We're gonna just jump into this because so much is going on right now. So much to talk about. We're joined live by Abe Gonzalez, FightsATW.com founder, chief editor, and writer. Abe, over the last 24 hours, at really last like 12 hours, we've learned a couple things. We learned that Garcia-Benn and Ryan Garcia is done. 3 days after it was, or 4 days after it was supposed to be announced. And we've learned that Paramount and DAZN have entered into a sort of split deal, not necessarily in light of what we used to see between HBO and Showtime for mega fights. But I want to get you to encapsulate all this and explain that on Saturday, you had forecasted a lot of this. I mean, I went back and listened to that show. You were absolutely adamant about what could possibly be going on, and you nailed it. You said that they would probably announce by like Tuesday or later in the week. You had said that, you know what, I'm going to let you get into that because the zone stuff, the Golden Boy stuff, it's all prevalent. But Abe, tell us what you know, tell us what you think, and what does all this mean for boxing fans?
Yeah. So, on last week's show, I came on and I said that, there was reports out there, I think it was Dan that reported that the deal wasn't done. So it wasn't going to get announced at the Conor McGregor event, which would have been a great look, optics wise.
Very much.
But what I said was that, there could be a little bit of two things. It could be a little bit of ego and a little bit of, Oscar wanting to ensure that the details were good with him and his team.
Yes.
So the other part of that was that, I had mentioned Ryan's last fight, I believe, was the last of him being a fighter under Golden Boy, and it was under, I think, King Rye or Ryan Garcia Promote, something like that.
Yes.
Whatever his company is. And so it would be more of a partnership for the next couple of fights until that's done, and then he can be a free agent at that point. So with saying all of that, basically that's what ended up happening, right?
Very much so.
The details got worked out. Oscar was not trying to rush, through that, I'm assuming. And also
it's more than an assumption, though. I want to make sure, because I'll be honest, I think you understand this. I think what you were talking about on Saturday was spot on. And just to reiterate that, the idea that anyone saying Zuffa works this way or Dana White works this way is not what we're saying. What we are saying is that in these sort of big contract things, there are tactics that are utilized. And sometimes those tactics are sign this right now or get out. You have an hour to figure it out. You're not taking this to any lawyer. You're not taking this to any manager, right? Now or later. And again, we're not saying that happened. However, if there were some sort of power plays like that, that would be a reason for Oscar to want to, despite knowing this fight was going to get done, not announce it on Dana's terms.
Which has on Saturday. Which has happened, like people have publicly stated that has happened with working with Turkey on cards. Like Terrence Crawford talked about, being in a room and, a guy running back and forth and then basically giving them X amount of time to sign the Canelo deal, stuff like that.
And the UFC lawsuit also made mention of those tactics as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, so it happens. And so, that's Oscar, flexing his muscles too. Like, hey, listen, Garcia is my guy, and we're gonna go when we're good and ready, as they say.
Yeah,
so it was, there was a lot of simultaneous announcements. It was like, I first saw Dana White do the video, and then Golden Boys thing came up, and then Coppinger, and then everybody else followed, and Turkey and all that. Now the Turkey thing kind of laid it out for me a little bit more, because he put in there Paramount Plus worldwide, DAZN in the UK and Ireland, Yeah, the UK and Ireland. So I think that the reason the zone would be okay with that is that this fight specifically is probably going to do big numbers in those regions for them.
Agreed.
Um, I don't know if it necessarily would do the big numbers for them here in the US.
Sure.
Now you're going to have it on Paramount in the US, and in those other parts of the zone is not going to be in. That's a huge deal, bro. Huge deal. Because now, coming off of all these hit series that is on Paramount and people have Paramount, casual fans are going to tune in. Because guess what? Ryan Garcia is a guy that casual fans know.
Yes,
That's
absolutely. That's true.
Now, there's a lot of people that say, oh, well, Ben doesn't deserve this fight and this, that, and third. I get that from a boxing perspective. But statistically, and analytics is king everywhere. There is no question about Ryan Garcia's presence in the search histories of Google, etc. What people may not be aware of is Conor Benn's position in those very same categories. He, for whatever reason, I should say for whatever reason, but he gets searched probably more than some of the fighters that maybe are champions or that maybe in the public eye more here. And those are just facts. So now you have Conor Benn, who people are tapping in all of UK. And then you got Ryan Garcia, who people are tapping in all in the US, maybe some even in like Asia and stuff like that. And now all of a sudden you got a big fight. And it's on Paramount Plus. Super big exposure for both of those guys.
Absolutely. So I obviously we're boxing content creators, so we have to always choose sides and say who won, right? But in reality, right, I know that it's not as simple as who won, who lost, right? That's silly. But in reality, momentum is a thing, specifically in business. So I look at this deal and I ask myself, who won, who's in charge, and how did it get brought about? Like who ushered in this kind of, not peace, let's say, but ability to work together. And the reason it's important is because they represent two different sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you say that Zuffa and Dana White and Turkey won, then you're saying that they found a way to remain the lead promoter while still being able to make the fights that people said they weren't going to be able to make. On the other side, you have the traditional boxing gatekeepers. And did they win because they got ultimately Zuffa to bend the knee to their will? Zuffa is not using 8 weight classes in this fight. They're not throwing away the sanctioning, but they're not doing any of the radical changes they said. They've come to this agreement. So which side won to you, Abe? Go ahead.
Listen, I don't think any side won.
Wow.
I think that everybody won because everybody's going straight to the motherfucking bank after this.
Yo, you're not wrong.
So this is the thing. Golden Boy is part of the event, but they will, and I've been told this through a few sources that I've spoken to. More than likely, it's looking like Zuffa is going to have like operational command over the event.
Wow.
Specifically because, Paramount is going to be like basically like the lead platform, right? And so if Paramount's the lead platform, obviously who they're in business with and partner with are going to be the one running operations. I mean, that's simple mathematics. So, so that's that, right? I think that what we don't know yet, which is something that people may or may not want to pay attention to, but it is going to come up, is how does the WBC play into this?
Very good question. I'll be honest, I've been a little too excited online fighting with people since the news broke. I hadn't even considered that. And that's kind of embarrassing for me.
Yeah, no, because Dana White's announcement, if you see the video, he announces Ryan Garcia as the world welterweight champion.
Wow.
Not the WBC champ.
I love the pettiness. I'm not gonna lie. This is my Love Island, right? My niece watches Love Island, loves it to death, don't understand it. Just like this is my Love Island, and she doesn't understand it. Continue.
Yes. So I wonder if Mauricio's gonna puff his chest out and say, well, this is we're going to have our belt, front and center, and we're gonna do this and do that. Or if they don't feel like that's gonna happen, maybe they say, you know what, we're gonna strip Ryan like the day before the fight.
Yo, that would be, oh my gosh. I'll be honest. I'm so here for it now. I'm so here for it. I didn't even consider. I can't believe I didn't consider. And I even thought about it. I was like, the sanctioning body's like, what do you do? Yeah, that is a very big deal.
Yeah, so I'm curious on how that plays out, because let me just backtrack for a second. The belt doesn't matter for this fight.
Of course not.
It does not matter. This fight is going to do numbers regardless, with or without the belt.
Absolutely.
But the belt is part of Ryan Garcia right now, currently. So just curious to see how that plays out. Does the WBC say, oh, we're not going to sanction that fight, or, the belt won't be on the line, but he gets to keep it, or the belt won't be on line and we're stripping him? Like that, they need to figure that piece out. And I'm surprised that Mauricio hasn't came out
already,
and blasted already. But maybe he's had a conversation with Ring, and this is where, because look, Ring is in charge of the event, and then operationally it'll likely be Zuffa that's doing all that other stuff. But the press conferences and weigh in, that's all going to be like Zuffa driven. And if they want to stick to their principles of not showing the belt, because it's also going to be on Paramount Plus, remember, right? So you don't want to confuse the audience for them. You know what I mean? For Zuffa, you don't want to confuse the audience, right? So
no, of course.
It'll just be interesting to see how that plays out.
I agree. It's interesting to see how it plays out, though. Because here's what I want to make sure I say as far as the title fight. You're absolutely right. The title doesn't matter, right? This narrative in the fight is being sold, and nobody is like, you know what I mean? Like, these guys are like social media type of guys, right? Not that they're not world-class fighters. The thing is, though, is for Ryan Garcia, the title does matter, right? Because without the title, you revert back to the last version of what Ryan Garcia we know. And that last version was skunked against Rolly in a fight that nobody would ever want to see again. And on top of that, he said a lot of disgusting things in that time. So it's like, either you want us to remember him as the welterweight champion that came back to beat Mario Barrios in a situation where he went, toe-to-toe with the GOAT just before. Do you want us to remember that Ryan Garcia with the green belt on his shoulder and came back triumphant? Or do you want us to forget about that and revert back to the guy that we saw for 3 years, drinking and coming overweight and just doing these wild things that did nothing but steal attention away from what he was actually doing in the ring, right? So this version is a champion.
Yes, but I think you're giving way too much credit to the title for that.
Fair, because you don't need it to remember what he did. I just feel like it's a branding thing, because at the end of the day, how many people even have watched the last few Ryan Garcia fights, right? But there are so many of those fans. Like, what percentage of them are actually watching his fights? So is he known for his popularity in the masses as a boxer, or is it as a kick streamer? or is it as a content creator, or is it as a controversial figure? Which one? Because again, it's not that the title is so important to his brand, but the idea of coming back to be a champion. That is the narrative that Ryan Garcia and his team need to sell if they want him to be a household name.
This is my question, though. Does it matter? Ryan Garcia is going to get the big money. He's going to draw the big attention, regardless of what you look at him as, a streamer, a fighter, an influencer, a content creator, regardless of what you think of him. He's going to be involved in big fights, period.
You're not
Simple
wrong.
as that. Conor Benn, happening. If he gets Haney part 2, happening. Somebody put out there that they were saying, they were asking, Henry Ramirez, he was asking, which fight is bigger, Haney versus Garcia 2 or Boots versus Virgil? I told him straight up, as a boxing hardcore, you would say Virgil versus Boots. But statistically and from a commercial standpoint, it's Haney Garcia too, like by a mile.
This is the time where I hate when you're honest with us. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Like if you asked me personally, the guy that's been covering this sport for a decade and has been a fan since he was 5 years old, I want to see Verge Boots tomorrow, and I'll pay $100 to watch that one fight. Don't give me an undercard. I'll watch that one fight. Crazy I said that. But because they're going to do that, right? No, but at the end of the day, I have been on the golf course several times this year. And the few times that I was paired with younger kids between the age of 18 to like 25 and boxing was brought up, there was only 2 names that they ever talked about. And it was Ryan Garcia and Jake Paul. I know that's sad, but that is the truth. So at the end of the day, what Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia represent isn't just a fight like Virgin and Boots is. That's a narrative. That's a story that must be finished. It's almost wrestling-esque. You know what I mean? So, you're absolutely right about that.
Listen, even aside from all that, back to the analytics and the statistics, Ryan is going to drive it. Listen, if TMZ is putting out what Devin Haney gets monthly on their platform,
oh my God, that was crazy.
Then that tells you that like he's got a certain level of presence on this thing.
You're absolutely right about that.
Haney Garcia 2 by a mile, and go from there. But now, shout out to Mex. David is not ducking Jai. I know that.
That's a lot of people are saying that now. A lot of that, and that's what I hate is that this fight somehow has been given the proof of, see, no more side. Shakur came out right out and said it. I couldn't help myself but to reply to that because no, that's not true. And Abe, I want to ask you, this is a big fight in terms of the casual audience it will attract. This isn't a big fight in boxing in terms of 2, major names. And yet the difficulty to make this fight was prevalent. Now I'm from an era where the difficulty to make a fight, it existed in, Conor McGregor, Mayweather, Lewis and Tyson, right? HBO and Showtime coming together for a mega fight. What does this say to you in this current era of boxing that this fight was difficult to make? Does that mean that we're getting closer and closer to a place where the top fights could only happen on Netflix, that that fighters, it's going to be more complicated than ever to get these across the street, across promotion fights happening? What does it say to you?
Nah, I think that as long as the ring is doing fights, there will always be an opportunity to do these things. But if you really look at this, I guess going back to your original question, Zuffa maybe is winning a little bit more. And the reason why I say that, after thinking about it, is that now they are able to put out their brand in front of an audience using another promoter's superstar. And once that happens, they'll get the rub off of the event.
Very true. Very true.
And then they have an event. They have a Zuffa event like 2 weeks later. You know what I mean? So I'd be curious to see like what kind of spike they get following the Garcia fight to their next event. I forgot who's fighting in. Who is it? can't remember who that. I think it's somewhere in the UK or something like that. So,
Now,
but yeah, I think that's the deal with that. They're getting the rub, and let's clear something up real quick. The situation with fighters being able to do stuff like that within Zuffa, that's not everybody. That's going to be a select few that they need to get the majority in.
mm,
Think about that for a second.
so it's about collecting a certain amount of pieces that become so weighted, the gravitational force brings in others. That is absolutely correct, and that is absolutely interesting to think about. I wonder if when this thing launched, if they had like a list of names on a board, like, okay, we need 3 from this list, and we need 2 from that list, 5 from this. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so we're gonna collect these assortment of guys that are, action fighters, star fighters, quality boxers. Like, man, you're right, dude. This is way more contextualized than I think most people even
Yeah, and
consider.
listen, it's more Nick Khan than Dana White.
Okay.
Like this
Okay.
is all like more like a Nick Khan type of thinking. Like he is into, macro type strategizing, or whatever how you want to say it, than anything else. And I think that has gotten him to the places where in the positions that he's in now, and he's doing that with Zuffa. And then I guess we'll see. We'll see how this all pans out. It's not going to be something. Again, I said this before. It's not going to be something that in a year or two is going to drastically change. I think this is there's a 5-year plan involved in this, and within those 5 years, if they continue doing the things that they're doing, they might very well be, the platform or the promotion. You know what I mean? Like we just don't know.
So, real quick, I want to just take this little side quest that you had mentioned before. On Saturday, you brought up the absolute great point that if this was the date they were going to land on, this was going to go against, was it Texas and the Sooners? No, who was it?
Texas versus Ohio State.
Ohio State, and that's an evening game, right?
And it's going up against the UFC.
And it's going to go up
against whatever.
Yes. Okay. So with that said, and the idea that for the last era, we were conditioned as fans to understand that the Cinco de Mayo date and the September date were like the Super Bowls of boxing to a degree, right? Mayweather occupied the dates, Canelo took them over, and it was meant to kind of like surround a big date, kind of the way the WrestleMania has theirs, Super Bowl has theirs, right? That date is, it was supposed to be David's. That's what a lot of people were saying, right? What does this date represent now, Abe? What is this? Is it just wide open for the best fighter? Does it still have to be a Mexican surname or a Hispanic surname main eventing or in the main event? Like, what does the date represent to you now, now in this moment?
I think it's wide open, to be honest with you.
Wide open. Wow.
And now we know why they moved Canelo from September to October.
Yo, you just said that.
I did.
Clip that. Yo, you just said that.
I did.
Do you believe that?
I believe that 1,000%.
Yo. So does that speak to Canelo's lack of star power, or does it speak to the rest of boxing coming up to match him? What does that say to you?
I think it speaks to Turkey's budget.
Wow.
And him wanting to kind of spread things, because you'll have Ryan in September, Canelo in October. If Ring does, let's say David and Noel on that November date that I said, that would be November. Or if they do Joshua Fury in November, and then they got December. So I think they're going one a month, for the rest of the year. And why not? Why are you gonna compete against yourself?
Absolutely correct on that. Now, Abe, I want to ask you this question, and it's part of this whole story. Shakur Stevenson came out today on X, reacting to the news of the fight being announced, and basically he used the fight being made to validate what he has been saying in his press run since it was announced that he was signed to Zuffa, and that is that Turkey is saving boxing. Any fight can be made, and that there's no more sides of the street. Is Shakur trying to convince himself here? Do you think that Shakur is Shakur right or is he wrong? First of all,
I think that to a degree he's right, because it doesn't, for certain guys, it's not going to matter as long as the ring puts together the event.
Mm.
Like I truly believe that next year, maybe first quarter, maybe second, that we get Jai versus David Benavidez.
Really? You think so?
Like in a ring, on a ring event. I think it does happen. If David can beat Noel, which I think he will, and that gives David maybe an opportunity, or Jai an opportunity to fight whoever the IBF champ is at that point.
That makes a lot of sense. So does this fight place any added pressure on Shakur specifically based on the fact that this is a significant fight? So does Shakur have to now fight a Haney, a Tank, a Loma, some sort of name that adds to the narrative, or can he just fight anybody now?
I think, to be honest with you,
Shout out Bruce Gas.
I think Shakur said what he said supports the point that I said before, trying to get people to come in to Zuffa.
Oof.
Right? But not everybody's going to get the Shakur deal. Not everybody's going to get the Edgar Berlanga deal. Not everybody's going to get the Jai Opataya deal. You know what I mean? So, but for every one of those guys that you sign and do give special privileges to, you'll get 20 more guys that you'll have under your terms.
Damn, great point. Great point. Now, Mex says it goes to investing in the future. Canelo's in the twilight. It's time for new names to move on the dates. Yes, I agree. I think he's right. That's a point that you have to add to everything, right? It's like everything going on with Roman Reigns and all these, and not to bring up wrestling. I know the boxing guys hate it, but I'm just saying that there is a degree that you can compare the two, right? In the sense that you see the Obafemis, you see the Ethan Page, you see the Pentas, you see all the new names that are being pushed. And now the narrative for guys like Roman and Seth are, hey, we're in the twilight. This is the last time we might wrestle, and so it speaks to that. It speaks to this new generation that is absolutely needed in not just boxing, but in wrestling and in combat sports, MMA, I meant. So, very, very good point. So when we look at this fight between Ryan Garcia and Ben, what do you expect to be the goal, like the promotional? Like, do you think this thing is going to be an explosive sort of promotion that Zuffa utilizes to attract, or do you think that these two guys need to perform in a way that shows that they can rise to the Tanks, they can rise to the Devin Haneys, they can rise to the Shakur Stevensons? What is more important in this fight, the show and the sizzle, or the content of the fight?
I don't think either. I think they're both important, but the fight is going to deliver because, as the old adage says, styles make fights. Conor Benn's style, their styles are perfect for each other. You can see Ryan Garcia stepping back and landing a check left hook in a thrusting forward Conor Benn and get knocked out. You could also see Conor Benn, thrusting with the straight right hand, and Garcia moving back with both hands down like he does. And
I saw that in my head. I saw that in my head.
And getting hit with that right hand. So that is where it's at. Now, what's going to be interesting also is, I feel like for this event, we're gonna get the UFC fans versus boxing fans on social media.
Really? You think so?
I think so because they're gonna be behind Dana, and naturally, some of the boxing guys are gonna be behind Oscar. What I would do, and I don't know if they would agree to it, is have Ryan and Conor Ben face off, but right behind them have Oscar and Dana's face off.
Yo, that would be sick, bro. Oh my god, yo, and that is a good narrative to get. See, you know what I was gonna say too. Zuffa's doing a good job with these cards. They are putting together quality fights, right? The problem is that the expectations from the very beginning were set so high that it's like they can't even really take credit for, and Dana's not even taking credit for these fights, really. Like, not at the level I would take credit for these fights. They are, becoming that pro box. They are becoming that Friday Night Fights classic era. They're becoming those Tuesday night fights that we remember so well from the 90s. And in that, that's a success. But man, that is a solid point you make, because ultimately they could bring in more MMA guys with those narrative. I'm not putting that one up. Yeah. So I just think that you're right, and you can utilize those narratives to bring in MMA fans, because again, it doesn't seem like the Zuffa, as quality boxing as it's been and the cards have been, doesn't seem to be interesting a ton of MMA guys yet. So
yeah, and you're gonna see. I mean, I hope that people don't expect that this is gonna be like a stacked pay-per-view card. I don't see that happening. I already saw that Sean Garcia, his brother, is gonna be on the card.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was trying to become a cop, and I don't know. I didn't know
That's
he was.
Right.
He was
That's
still
right.
fighting. It is what it is. He's gonna get a check out of it, right? So, I don't know. I mean, listen, I'll say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Jai Opataya is on that card.
Wow, that would be a smart place to put him. Now, I want to ask you one more question about this.
Now, hold on for a second.
No, go ahead.
Golden Boy will have, I think, 2 fights on that card, so I'm expecting some really good matchups coming out of that from Golden Boy.
You said some interesting things on Saturday that I don't want to repeat because I don't remember how you said them, and I wouldn't want to mess it up. So I'm going to let you do it in this way. You mentioned about the potential of Oscar De La Hoya. We talked about this a little bit too. Maybe not wanting to do things on Dana's terms, right? Maybe a little ego or shots back and forth, fine. But Ryan Garcia came out today and thanked DAZN. And then he thanked Turkey and The Ring, and specifically never mentioned Golden Boy or Oscar De La Hoya. Abe, what do you make of that situation, that relationship that's been entrenched in turmoil for the last several years? What does this say to you?
Well, I mean, words have meaning, like I told you in the text. He said, big thank you to my partners at DAZN for being extremely helpful to making this happen. Ryan is probably on the part of the deal, like I mentioned before, where, it's like a co-promotion thing. So he no longer looks at himself as a Golden Boy fighter. He probably looks at him as a partner with Golden Boy. So for him to kind of like not flex his muscles, but kind of say, I'm a little bit of a boss here. I'm going to thank the streaming partner that I am under, because they're going to promote my next fight after. Does that make sense?
Very much so. And it makes me want to ask you this next question. So if that's the case, and I think you're right about that, the narrative that I've said is that the problem that Dana is going to come into if the law changes, the Muhammad Ali Act is, changed or whatever, and they get what they want and they're able to design the Zuffa organization the way that they'd like in boxing. Doesn't Ryan Garcia, as he exists today, represent a detriment to that? Because again, he said my partner's in DAZN, right? So he's thinking of himself as his own boss. Floyd Mayweather has set that bar, right? Even Drake has set that bar of taking off the chains of your institution and being your own boss, keeping the majority of the check in-house. Does that hurt Dana's pursuit in boxing to know that Shakur could get to a level where there is no amount of money you can pay him because he just wants to be his own boss?
No, because I think that by the time that happens, they would have already cashed in on the benefit of having Shakur on the team. And at that point, it wouldn't matter.
Got you. Good, solid point. So Zuffa can continue after the desired direction and not be hampered by the structure of the way boxing work and the way that boxers think as far as reaching that ultimate level of being your own boss and having your own promotion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that they're also probably doing the deal strategically, right? I'd have to bet that Shakur's deal is probably no more than 3 years. And by that time, Ryan might be available. Right? He might be out of his deal with DAZN by like after his next fight. So, does he resign with them? Or is this a showcase for Ryan by Zuffa to let him know what they're capable of doing?
Well said. Listen, we just got a pretty big dump of new live watchers right now. So I want to take this time out to remind you all, please go to fightsatw.com, get all your combat sports news from there, not just boxing, wrestling, everything. And so at the end of the day, fightsatw.com, go there. Shout out to Abe. And you can also read my work there with wrestling too, weekly. I'll also be covering Saturday night main events on Saturday and Triple Mania in September, SummerSlam as well. So make sure you're tapped into fightsatw.com. Make it your one-stop shop for all combat sports if you want to be tapped in to all the latest happenings. Abe, is there any final thing that you want to say about this specific topic? Is there any other aspects to this that we might be missing?
No, I think that it's going to be a entertaining fight while it lasts. And I think that all parties involved, more so Zuffa than the others, will get the rub off of it. I think the T-Mobile is going to be packed. I think the Brits will fly over for Conor Benn. I think that it's going to be a big event. I do believe that. I do believe it's going to be a big event. People are going to be locked into this one. The traffic is going to be crazy online with their stuff. Conor Benn is a talker. I'm more interested in seeing how this first press conference goes.
Me too.
Like how they're going to do that. If they do one, well, shit. It would have been good if they could have done it this week. I don't know if they can still manage to do that, but you know what? Maybe they do the face-off for the Berlanga press conference at Fanatics Fest.
That would be dope. They should have Berlanga in the building on Saturday. I mean, obviously, if he has the ability to make it for the wrestling, just to, you know what I mean? Just to get that more exposure, that broader exposure.
Yeah, he will more than likely be. I would have to imagine, because I don't know what day the press conference is. That's either Thursday or Friday. Yeah, it's either Thursday or Friday. So I wouldn't be surprised if, listen, all the streamers and influencers and fans in general are at Fanatics Fest this week. Mm-hmm. Why not capitalize off of that? Berlanga gets the rub for being within the vicinity of all that. And, Garcia and Ben gets a face off. And like I said, just put Dana White and Oscar facing off and make sure that the security dudes are really close by.
Yo, that would sell the fight for everyone in a heartbeat, champ. Yo, crazy.
Let's see. Alex, what did he say?
Alex said, this is more important fight in Golden Boy Promotions history. Oh, the most important fight. Oscar needs Ryan to win more than Dana prefers Conor to win. That's an interesting point.
It is interesting. But you know what? I don't see Ryan losing credibility if he loses,
Yeah.
because he's such a household name that the people that follow him and in those younger demographics, they'll give him a pass.
They're giving that pass, right?
Now, I think the most important fight is the one that hasn't been made, that hopefully is made later this year, and that's Boots versus Virgil. That is an important fight for Golden Boy, because Virgil is potentially part of their future, and so I just hope that they can get it all sold up. And if the situation is good, I would probably bring Virgil to Las Vegas on the 1st, and on TNT Sports, have him say, "Yo, everything's good with Golden Boy. Fight announcement soon. We back, baby." And
That
boom.
would do a lot. That would do a lot to serve the current narrative that is going on. Final thing I want to talk to you about with boxing real quick, and again, this is all part of the same thing. AJ Fury was randomly announced on Monday Night Raw and on the Home Run Derby on Monday. What is the latest with that fight? What is going on? Do we have any sort of understanding of what all these, what the details are going to be, what the holdups are?
Listen, I think Monday. Let me see, what date is that? On Monday, July 27th,
27th,
or on Tuesday, July 28th, we will get where that is.
Okay. You have any inklings or opinions of where you think they might go?
I think it's gonna happen in the UK, bro.
Still,
I don't know if it's Wembley, because it's the outside and then the weather and all that. But if they can get one of those places that is closed, I think they do it there. I mean, the O2, how many people fit in the O2? What, 20,000?
let me see.
Like something like that. Maybe they do it at the O2, but I mean, that fight deserves Wembley. It's just that the timing sucks. And it's very unpredictable, and you don't want to have that fight and then all of a sudden it's raining and it's cold outside. Like,
yeah, it's actually 22, just over 22,000 is the max.
Yeah, I think the only other venue that has an outside shot is Las Vegas. And the reason why I say Las Vegas is because they may overpay for that. And Turkey has made it real clear in the past that the fight will take place to whoever pays the most on the licensing fee. He said that. So we've seen Vegas overpay to have WrestleMania 2 years in a row.
Yep, we sure did.
Would they mind overpaying and having Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury in Las Vegas? Of course they wouldn't mind doing that.
They would. They wouldn't.
You know how many? There probably wouldn't be a hotel room available. Period. All the Brits flying in for that one.
Yeah.
You're right. And then you get a ton of action on the Strip during their down season.
Great point. Didn't even think of that. And we'd have to add to the context that Vegas over the last several years has seen a drop in people visiting, and that's a serious thing they've been dealing with. The mayor, a lot of aspects of this surround combat sports, but ultimately you're absolutely right. They could thrive with this fight. It could be what makes them the kind of money they've been looking to generate, and have lost out on in this current era of boxing. Very good point. Abe, listen, that's all we have. I appreciate you for jumping on, dude. This is a huge, huge help for all of us to better understand what exactly is going on, how these fights are being made, and ultimately what this power struggle back and forth continues to look like. So we appreciate you, dude. Honestly, not just now, not just Saturday, but for the last year and a half, you have absolutely kept us apprised in a way that we can all understand, right? You don't do it in like an inside baseball sort of way, which I think is what the community very much appreciates.
No, I appreciate that. Listen, for those that just jumping on now, take that little red button and push it all the way to the left so you can hear it from the beginning and catch up to what we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go over a few of those things as you go, just to catch everybody up. But fightsatw.com is where you can check out all combat sports. Make it your one-stop shop. Abe, you want to give out your personals?
Yeah, at AbeG718 on X and on Instagram, at AbeG Boxing on YouTube, and at AbeG718 on TikTok. So let's just see what's up. Oh, by the way, just wanted to slide this in there. The I Play Rocky trailer hit socials today. Man, we about to have another Rocky run, bro.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh,
I think so.
Yeah.
That trailer was tough, bro.
Was it? Oh, we're going to watch it. We're going to watch it.
That trailer was tough. I think we're about to have another Rocky run, man.
I just pulled it up right now. Hell yeah. Oh, he looks so good, dude.
Yo,
He looks like Sylvester Stallone. I
Wait.
was like, why do they have the old?
Yeah, wait till you hear him
shots.
talk.
Oh, man, I cannot wait. Abe,
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. Champ,
All right, man.
I'll talk to you this week.
All right, peace.
Yo, and by the way, I want to tell y'all, fightsatw.com, you could go right now and check out, let me see, where is it at? This amazing article I told y'all about. Oh, and David Phillips did another one on the new trailer for Rocky. He just put it out today. So let's see. Let me get David Phillips stuff here. Wait, where is his Rocky thing? Oh, here it is. So, you can see here the David Phillips article, 50 Years of Rocky, ranking every film in the Rocky franchise. This is an incredible read. If you're a fan, even if you're not, you will become a fan. Does a great job. And then this is his new shot, or this is a new piece that's just up today. A first look at I Play Rocky, what the new trailer reveals. This is the guy. Let's see. What is his name? His name is Anthony Ippolito. Matt Dillon's going to be in it as Frank Stallone Sr. Anna Sophie Robb is going to be Sasha. Stephen James, who's that? Is going to play Carl Weathers. Okay. Cool, but where's Adrian? Who's playing Adrian? I'm not seeing a name Adrian here. Are they going to change it to Sasha? I think they are. Weird. Maybe not. Anyway, okay. Well, let's real quick take a look at this trailer. Champ, shout out to Machine Gun Matt. So it is a movie or a TV series? I thought it was a movie, but is it a series? Yeah, I think it's a movie. Yeah, it's definitely a movie. Only in theaters in November. But obviously we know this is a huge story with a lot of lore. So if this first one is successful, as Abe said, they could go on a run. We could see, but definitely, I think it would be okay to change the story a little bit. But I don't know, Adrian, like, we're not going to have that, yo, Adrian, I did it moment. Like, that's got to be in there, no? Yo, Sasha, I did it for Putin. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? No, she can be named Sasha and not be from Russia. Sasha is Adrian, you dolt. Okay, good. Well, not good, but at least we've cleared that up. Alex, what evidence do you have that Dana can fight? He was a Taibo instructor. Oscar would dog walk him. Oh, I didn't see this one from Alex. My bad. So this will make sense now. He said, for the record, Dana would put Oscar in a chokehold if it came down to it, and I stand by that. Dana fears nobody except Whitey Bulger, but that's another story. Except for Whitey. Well, Whitey's dead, and he's been an old man for a really long time, but yeah, maybe back in the day he feared him. Alex, let me find out you one of those, I'm a UFC fan, fake tough guys. Nah, I don't think Alex is one of those. All right, let's see this trailer. He said, not if Dana. Yeah, here's the thing, right? any boxer is going to get schooled in jiu-jitsu in a street fight. You know, I mean, it's not to say that they couldn't land a punch before that person grabs a leg, but yeah, I mean, if they fought in boxing, there's no way I think Oscar loses at all. If they fought in a street fight, honestly, I have no idea. I really don't. That's a tough one. I think that should be a fight. That should be, and they should do it in the street. You know what they should do? This is what they should do. They should do all the Rockies 1, 2, 3, and 4, and on the 5th one, completely abandon the narrative and just have where Rocky fought Tommy Gunn and have Dana and Oscar in a street fight in that, but it's real. So that'll be the 5th movie. That would be good. I feel like remakes like this would be better as a TV series. Man, I could not agree with Matt more. So right on this. And we're seeing this, right? We're seeing these things that were movie franchises become series. For example, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is re-debuting, I think in October. I don't know, but it's on HBO Max. It's like one of their big fall projects or whatever. And everybody's, oh no, I think it's in Christmas. It's coming out. And that's going to be a series. That's going to be a miniseries. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it would have been better as a miniseries, but I'm here for it. Again, what evidence do we have on Dana other than he promoted MMA? Fair point, though. That is a fair point. It's like me assuming that because he's been a UFC promoter and a promoter of like BJJ and certain martial arts, that he knows something about it. But I would assume that even if Dana never did BJJ, which is probably not the case, but even if he, I'd assume he'd still have a more understanding to a degree that he could catch Oscar's leg. Like Oscar's not tapping him, right? I don't know. It's tough, dude. It's so tough. Like too many 70s, 90s remakes aren't good because they try to do a shot for shot remake or twist the story some weird direction. Absolutely. And it's like, there's never a between. It's like, we're going to take this story so far from what y'all remember it, or we're literally going to copy it. You know, not necessarily like scene by scene, like in terms of optics and how they shot it, but in terms of plot and narrative. And so, yeah, that sucks. But let's watch this Rocky trailer real quick.
Name?
I'm Mike.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Did he say he's Mike? Wait a minute. Hold on. No, never mind. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought something happened. Never mind. Okay, let's start over. I'm so sorry. I fucked that up.
Name?
I'm Mike. Acting's what I live and breathe for. And I gotta have faith in myself.
You need to show everyone who you are.
I like this girl, Sylvester.
Sylvester?
That's right, his real name.
It's got a nice ring to it. Sylvester Stallone. It's like Peter Parker.
There's no way she said that.
Are you delusional? You don't got the looks to be a movie star. Not to mention, you talk like you got rocks in your mouth.
Yeah, I know I don't look like Einstein, but I got a brain. The only way for me to show people is me to have to write a script for myself.
Yeah, so do that. Write a script. And give yourself the best part. There's something big here.
You wrote this in 3.5 days. This is freaking good. To have someone like Chuck Bronson, or we could do Eastwood.
Guys, I play Rocky.
I have no idea what that means.
That's a fucking good one. That's actually a story. Fuck, I forgot where it came from. I think it was in somebody's biography, but that's what they said, that when he came into the thing after he had gotten the script approved, he said something like, you know, he told them he was going to play Rocky and nobody understood what he was saying.
So the writer wants to be in it as the lead. No, absolutely not. Throw some money at him. 25K.
No.
Raise the offer. Try 75. You're parking cars, for Christ's sake. Sylvester.
No.
175. Go to 200. No?
I'm not getting this up. Not for $1 million. Not for 10. Hey,
All right, now if you do this,
Comes with some strings.
if you ever fall one day behind schedule,
the meat's frozen solid.
they're gonna kick you to the curb
Broke your hand.
and they can replace you with a real actor.
I don't even know what I'm doing. It's any good.
Just do the best acting of your life and everything will be fine.
Yo, I got
How far
fucking
behind
chills.
schedule are they?
They're not.
This movie, it's about having a belief in yourself. It's about going the distance. I put my heart and soul on the page. If I'm not willing to live up to what I wrote, then what's the point? So do you believe in me? Or not? I thought you said you could box.
I lied.
Let go of the head.
I'm an actor, goddammit. You always lie.
Yo, I fucking cannot wait. Oh my God, that looks fucking good, dude. Holy shit. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, think about this for a second, right? This movie originally, right? Because we weren't alive when it came. Well, a lot of us weren't alive when it came out. But when it came out, it was a cultural phenomenon, right? Everybody saw Rocky. Everybody, like Jaws, okay? And it did something to Americans. It did something for Americans. We always love an underdog, but to see a movie where the character's never anything but an underdog, even when he becomes rich and famous, he falls from grace because of the things that usually happen, money, people stealing money. And they've tried to retell this story, right? And I think they did it in a really great job with Creed. I do. If you're going to try to remake this story, doing it from the Black American perspective felt like the way to go. And yet there was something that didn't connect for Americans the way that the original Rocky did. Of course, it's a different time, it's a different thing, so it's like you can't really say what it was, but those films were great. This is different, though. This is different. This is a celebration of that underdog spirit, but not from this Disney-esque storytelling, what are they called? Like fairy tales, because that's what Rocky is. Rocky is a fairy tale. Do fairy tales come true in real life? Every fucking blue moon, but not nearly often enough to continue to make movies like that. And yet, the actual story of how Rocky came about, the actual story of how Sylvester Stallone ended up in this groundbreaking role that solidified his career, that is the true underdog story. Him in Hollywood, a place of millionaires and billionaires who won't give you a leg up unless you have sex with them. He found a way to go above and beyond. Here's a guy who thought that he sounded dumb, he looked stupid, all these things, and here he comes and shows not just a piece of art. That would be incredible in itself, but a revolutionary piece of art. A piece of art that changed the zeitgeist of film, American film, and the American culture. And now to try to put that story on screen, that is it's the perfect time. Do I think a lot of boxing fans are gonna, probably care, or because it's not like the actual Rocky story? Maybe not. But ultimately, this is a story that should be told. This is a boxing story. No matter what, trying to rise above a corrupt ecosystem and infrastructure is boxing, and it is Hollywood, and it is getting scripts approved. I mean, it's like getting the big fight, and for him to be able to star in this movie. Yeah, I'm so excited, dude. I really am. Let's see. Yeah, it's not Rocky, fam. I know it's insane. It's within the Rocky universe. Sure, that's probably better said. So it's a movie about Sylvester himself. Yeah, I think that's why Alex said Adrian is Sasha, because Sasha's his Adrian in real life. Holy crap, I just saw who's playing MCU Magneto. What are you talking about? Magneto's playing Magneto. What are you talking about? What the fuck? Holy shit, dude. Marvel Studios reboot reportedly cast Star Wars actor Adam Driver as Magneto. Yes, fucking please. Thank you. Yes, please, and thank you. Holy shit. I am so excited for that. He's going to fucking kill that, dude. He was like one of the only bright spots of that Star Wars trilogy, let's be honest. And they wrote his character terribly. The way that he was, the way his character developed was just awful. It at times made zero sense. But he, as a performer, nailed it. And how he made Rocky. Yep, exactly. Like the movie about Nike, kinda. Oh yeah. The one on Prime, right? Or Paramount, one of them. It was the story of, so Matt Damon's in the movie, and so is, I think, his butt buddy. What's his butt buddy's name? The guy that played Batman? Affleck. And this is like a time where Nike isn't number one, and they're trying to get into the basketball shoe game like even deeper, and they're trying to sign Jordan. That movie's really good too. Did you see Tank post on his burner that he's in talks? Oh shit, no, I did not. No, I did not. Dan, did you post it? Let me see. Holy shit. Dan the man just posted something from Tank's. Whoa. Wait a minute. Where is this social media? What the hell? Did he black it out? All right, I'm looking. Did he post it from? Where did he post it from? I just wanted to see the original post. Obviously, Dan the man is the man, so I very much believe this, and also a couple other people have posted about it too. Shout out to Dan the man for bringing this to the table. I would say this is so. This is significant. This is significant in a big way because this is Tank trying to match the. This is like what Shakur said, right? Shakur was like, "Oh yeah, if these guys want to duck me, fine. We'll make the Lamont Roach fight or the winner in Roach fight." And so this is kind of like the same thing. It's like we have alternatives, and these alternatives can be mega fights. But I almost wonder with the decline of Manny Pacquiao and the lack of notoriety and him being out of the spotlight for a really long time and only briefly returning as last year, whatever. I wonder, honestly, if Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia has more juice right now to be a bigger fight, or at least a higher numbers fight than Tank, who's been out of the ring for so long and barely fought over the last 5 years. And the same with Pacquiao. So yeah, Those two names, Tank and Pacquiao, are obviously been bigger in boxing over the last decade than either Conor Benn or Ryan Garcia. But this is a, what do you do now? What do you do for me now? A sport. And in that, I don't know, dude, Pacquiao and Tank could steal the thunder. You know, Pacquiao and midget Tank. Dude, who did this? He's fucking hilarious. Yo, and this looks like a good, like, actual image. This is crazy. How does it that I make how is it that I'm the only one that makes AI slop all the time? All right. So damn, that's crazy, dude. I need to hear what's going on with this. I need to hear what's going on with this immediately. Let's see what people are saying real quick. Oops. Pacquiao, the king of talks and not fighting anyone. All right. Chasing greatness. Now I don't want to see anyone trashing Tank's resume. Come on, dude. These are the people that you can't even, like, they're trolling, right? Yeah, Tank's resume is great now because he has a 80-year-old Pacquiao on it. Correct. You are right. I honestly believe this. It's just how Tank moves, always making the fight where he has the advantage, in this case, age. Fair point. Here we go with more circus acts. Tank avoids more big fights than any fighter in history. This dude talks about being the face of boxing, but refuses to fight the best fighters in his weight class. I won't waste my money. Man, like, this cat is never, ever going to fight anybody. Yeah, see, this seems like people are down on it. If this is happening, I will definitely be disappointed. Don't know if this is even remotely true, but for the grown men supporting or defending this, y'all need to gain some self-respect. Jesus, people hate it. I'm not saying, like, it's a great fight, but it certainly is a great power move from Tank, considering what's going on. So it's a movie about an actor making a movie. Correct. Tank, even with a layoff, puts Manny in a coffin. Really? You think so? In a coffin? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Can he Marquez him? I'm not asking, does he have the power to Marquez him? I'm not asking if Pacquiao has the punch resistance against Tank to not be Marquezed. I'm asking, does Tank have the skill to put himself in a position against a Manny Pacquiao to take absolutely full advantage and exploit the moment? I don't know. I'm not saying he can't drop him, not saying he can't stop him on accumulation. What I am saying is that very few people have Marquez Pacquiao. Rocky made boxing great again. Absolutely, he did. 100%. At a time where, you know, the business was getting more and more the way it ended up becoming. I'll just wait until Creed TV series comes out. Fun fact, King Kong and Carrie were also in theaters that weekend. So in the right places in America, you could have got a sweet double feature. Wow. I had no idea. Really? I felt like Carrie was not as old as Rocky. Wow. He posted this on his burner, then deleted it quickly. I'll send you the screenshot. Champ, appreciate you. Yo, that Tank burner account, bro. That shit's crazy. I love it. Let me go to my Twitter. All right. So shout out to Dan, the boxing man, always coming through for us, dude. Always. And so here it is from the Moneyfly Often One account, which, yeah, we all know is fucking Manny Pacquiao now. I mean, Gervonta Tank Davis now. Fight Pacquiao, fuck it. This will be bigger than any other fight. We already in talks. Yo, that is crazy. And I wonder, I better not say that, but wow. That's a fight, dude. That's a fight. I'm not saying it's a great fight for Tank's resume. I'm not saying it's a great fight to push back on the narrative that he is scared, intimidated, or ducking the biggest and best young fighters or younger fighters of this generation. Would I rather him fight Devin Haney? Absolutely. Would I rather him fight Shakur? Absolutely. But I'll be honest, the fight I thought we were going to get was Loma. When we heard that news come back and that fight that was never made, it seemed like they were just going to pick up right where they left off. So if I was going to take Loma, I can't say that I'd feel like a hypocrite saying I don't want Pacquiao. And besides, if Devin and Shakur are going to fight, I'm not saying they are, but if they are going to fight, Ryan and Ben are set. Like, where does Tank go? Would we rather him not fight Pacquiao this year and stay inactive? Or would we rather him fight Pacquiao, possibly win, stealing that, or not stealing it, but getting that rub, right? Taking that rub from him and taking it into an even bigger fight versus the winner of Shakur and Haney or whoever, Ben or Garcia. All I'm saying here is that you can hate the idea of what this represents in the context of Tank's career, and it is frustrating. You can't argue that this fight is somehow indicative of him refusing to fight those other guys because he's not in talks to fight those other guys. Those guys are in talks to fight other people. So Tank has to have a fight that shows he's still that guy, not just in the ring, but from a pay-per-view and star position. Okay. This is the fight that does that. Shout out to Dan. Absolutely, Machine Gun Matt. I sent it to you. Oh, yeah. Appreciate you, champ. Let Tank pack up Manny. That's what I'm saying. Let him pack him up, bro. This is the whole thing I was making the argument about Jermell Charlo when we were talking about this last year and him getting a fight with Boots or Verge or one of these other guys that they were talking about. Everybody was saying, why do we want to see Jermell Charlo fight? We don't want to see him. He's been fighting he hasn't fought so long. He doesn't deserve this fight. And I said, you're right. None of those things I disagree with. The thing is, he was the last lineal champion. And I know that boxing, wrestling, and MMA work better for casual fans when the continuity is not broken. Therefore, to be the man, what do you got to do? Ric Flair taught you. Ric Flair taught you. To be the man, what do you got to do? Beat the man. If you beat this man, this is one of the kings of the last generation, right? This is like 10 years from now, somebody beating Tank. Or 10 years from now, somebody beating Devin, I guess. I don't know. Ryan. No, I'm not Ryan. But this is a good fight, I think, in a lot of different ways. It's not a good fight to squash the detractors of Tank and his resume. But it is a good power move. I don't believe it. Fake news until I see other sources. Wow. It's funny though, Alex, because you don't do that with Floyd. You don't do that with anybody else. But with a very select few fighters, you do that all the time. Or with those guys, not with the other ones. Y'all ever notice that Mario legitimately glitches? Yeah, I have ADHD and I'm borderline autistic. So, I think I'm doing pretty good for that. That one Tank fanboy channel posted a video on it, so it might have legs. If it's made, I'm happy Floyd pulled out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Tank's reflexes versus Pac slowed down. He absolutely starches Manny with one shot. Yeah, if Pac slowed down even more, then absolutely you're correct. He didn't look terrible in his last fight. He didn't look great. Didn't look like his old self, but Manny runs in a lot of shit, and that's in Tank's wheelhouse. Absolutely, that is true. Loma retired is the reason why he didn't fight Tank when it was being negotiated, but now Loma's coming back all of a sudden. LOL. I think Manny's draw with Barrios is better than any win Conor Benn has at 147. Interesting fucking point. Very good topic here. Could you make that argument? Because I think I would. Like if I could shrink Eubank down to 147, I don't know that he beats Ryan Garcia. I don't know that he beats Tank. I don't think Eubank is as good as a lot of people thought he was. In fact, I think the only reason that the fight with Conor Benn was as even and as close as it was because weight and size played a significant advantage there. I think that is something that I would also make the argument for. I do. I think so. I mean, you look at Conor Benn's resume, right? And this is a guy who thought he was going to be on that star track, tests positive, becomes persona non grata within the sport of boxing. And now you look at his career as where he is as this, kind of star or potential big star in the making. And how much has he earned it versus how much has the controversy built him up to this point? And you could say the same thing with Ryan Garcia, but at least he has some of those wins. At least he has some of those moments. And by the way, he's just coming to 147 as opposed to Conor Benn, who fought at 154 last, or not last, wait, whatever, 150, middleweight and junior middleweight. So I don't know. I think this is a fair point. I do. And that makes me rethink the whole Ben Garcia thing now. But I don't know. I just think today's boxing fans are so much more inclined to watch a fight where there's extra drama as opposed to a fight that proves who belongs where in the hierarchy of boxing. All right. So very, very thankful to Dan the Man for giving us access to that information. Very, very helpful. Oh, that's not the one. That's closer, I guess. But so I just want to reiterate a couple of points. Actually, let me I'm just going to put the link out if anybody wants to jump on and give. Oops, shit, that is not what I meant. Oh yeah, fuck it. Okay, so if anybody wants to jump on real quick and give their take on any of the topics we've talked about, Paramount versus DAZN. Are they working together now? Is this a situation where they're working together? Is this a situation where they were forced into a pairing or a marriage? Does this prove Shakur's point that there are no more sides and any fight can be made with the bottomless well of money that Turkey has access to? A lot of people have been talking about how this fight got done and whether or not like Turkey said, hey, Dana, you're going to go meet with Eddie right now. You're going to go do this. You're going to go do that. If that's the case, right, can you even say that Dana's like the guy in charge? Or is he a yes man to Turkey? I don't know. What's going on? Supermex in the building.
Yo, what up, Mario?
I can't hear you, champ. I see you talking.
Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Hold on.
I don't. What is going on? I see your mic moving. Let me put you on mute and then off. You there?
Yo.
Damn, I don't know what's going on. I see his mic, but I can't hear him. Can y'all hear him? Can anybody hear him?
Okay, how about now?
Mex, try getting off that. I don't know what is going on, but you're not on mute. I see your mic is working. Huh, I'm not sure. You did hear him, Alex. Okay, fuck. What is that then? What is going on? I bet it's my headphones. Let me fix that. I'll bet you it's my headphones. Nope, it's not. Mex, you there?
Yo, can you hear me?
Okay, hold up real quick. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna listen from my external. So go ahead, champ. You are live, and I'll be able to hear you.
You can hear me though? I mean, it's working. Yo.
I got you on delay, champ. So go ahead.
Oh, okay, good. No,
what's up? What's up, guys?
I think honestly, you asked about who won here. I don't think anybody won because, Oscar had to bite down and obviously work with Golden, with Zuffa and, make that fight happen for Ryan. But Zuffa also had to back off of a lot of things they were saying. I like what Abe was talking about is the real question is going to be what happens with the WBC. There's no mention that this is a world title fight. There's no mention on the fight poster of even, Ryan being the champion. I know he said it verbally, but and he said it really it's reminiscent, like we talked about the other day, whenever they hosted the WEC event, remember, and they called it the promotion. So it's an interesting take, man, but I like to see it because, as much flack as a lot of us boxing fans will give Dana White and Zuffa, man, the Conor McGregor fight the other day was huge. I mean, the energy in that building was electric, despite how it ended. And you know, that was a $13 Paramount, right? Versus a week from now, and I'm an Errol Spence fan. We're gonna have Errol Spence and Joshua on pay-per-view on the same day, plus Fury Friday night. I mean, that's a lot going on, and it's all on pay-per-view. I mean, yeah, sign me up for fights for 13, 14, $15. Hopefully we make our way to putting an end to the pay-per-view model once and for all.
Go ahead, Alex. My bad.
What's up, guys? I'm picking Tim Tszyu to beat Errol Spence after Errol Spence is requesting to have the fight at middleweight. That's a red flag for me.
Yeah, look, it's a red flag, I think, but at the end of the day, I'll be honest, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this promotion. I am. I saw the sit down the other day. Earl doesn't seem like he's in that mode that fighters get when they come back, where they're like trying too hard to prove it, where they're trying too hard to like, oh, I'm back, or I'm this, I'm that. It just seems authentic. Like he seems like he's ready. You know, they talked about, hey, fans were coming up to me and he's like, you had a great career, champ. Keep your head up. And it's like, damn, that's nasty work for a fighter who's like never retired and is still in the game and trying to get fights. And so ultimately, I'll say this, while there may be aspects of that promotion that don't like pan out specifically or don't do the job it's supposed to do, ultimately at the end of the day, this is about Earl Spence making his mark. This is his fight to lose, I think. Not that Tszyu can't win, but that more is riding on the line for Earl Spence in the rest of his career as opposed to Tszyu, right? What do you think, though, about this Ben fight and Ryan Garcia, Alex? Who won? Where are we with this whole thing?
You know, Matt was saying that Zuffa's side of things conceded in a few things. I think they are much more flexible in their ways. People go off of what Dana said in one interview with Max Kellerman and treat it as gospel. I have learned within the decades to not go with everything Dana White says in his interviews. But and Joseph is saying it was at 155. No, 155 is Canelo weight, bro. That's so it wasn't at middleweight. So Errol is not in as tip top as shape as it seems. You know, he seems a little bigger than he's supposed to be for this fight. So that's what I'm getting from that. But as far as Zuffa, I think they're playing with house money here. If Connor loses, they could just sign Ryan after he wins. If Connor wins, then it's checkmate.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, listen, because that's what we were talking about with Abe earlier. And if you didn't get to a chance, anybody listening right now to the live didn't get a chance to hear while Abe was on, dude, go back to the very beginning. I promise you, you're going to learn something. Abe, he spoke to it. He spoke to it, right? Because he clarified where all the pieces are, right? It makes a difference that Ryan Garcia is in the stage of his contract where he is able to self-promote, where he's able to be a partner. And that's the word he used in his post when he was talking about this fight. He thanked his partners at DAZN. He thanked Turkey and the Ring magazine. Didn't thank Oscar. In fact, though, he didn't really thank Dana either, I guess. I don't know. But ultimately, you're right. Ryan Garcia has the ability to come off of this, and I think it's like he said, Shakur, all these people attract this gravitational weight to Zuffa.
Joseph, you're missing the point. It doesn't matter if 155 is middleweight. If that's the case, then why is the Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney negotiations so like nuanced with the 144 and 147. To Devin Haney, I don't think 144 is truly welterweight to him, if you know what I mean. So that's what I mean with the 155, 160 middleweight argument. You get what I'm saying, Mario, right?
Listen, I get where you're coming from with this. I do. I as soon as you said it, I thought, excellent point. It could be a red flag. That said, though, there is a difference. There is a difference when you talk about the 144 division and that fight specifically, only that you have one guy who represents possibly the best 140 pounder right now. I think I would call him that. And then you got another guy who believes he's the best 147 pounder, right? And that still has to be proved. At the end of the day, there is a meet in the middle sort of argument you can make. But in this case with Earl Spence, it's like, are you fighting at 154 or not? Are you fighting at 160 or not? What is going on? Where do you want to campaign at? So I still see it as middleweight. It's still middleweight. The problem is once you get into a position where you're going to fight a full-fledged guy, what happens then? How are you ready for that? Do you prepare in that same kind of way? Because again, are you trying to get something over in this fight because you need that benefit or advantage, right? As opposed to the 144 fight with Shakur, it is nuanced. You're absolutely right. Great work to use. It's nuanced, but it also is representative trying to find the most fair and balanced spot. Don't you think?
Yeah. And Joseph, I'm not making the argument with the technical terms. I understand under the technicalities that anything above 154 is middleweight. Anything above 140 is welterweight. I understand that, but that's not what I'm arguing. It's just the principle of it all. That's what I'm arguing.
Yeah, you're not arguing that. What you're arguing is that is there a reason that this fight is fought at the weight class it's going to be fought at? Is there an advantage to be taken of? Is there a what is it? What reasons are there for this? Because if it's just about acclimating to the weight, I would have suggested fighting a full, the full weight class against a lesser fighter, right? Because ultimately that's what is going to be the thing that we learn the most. Can he take a punch at the weight class? Can his punches matter at that weight class? So I think your point is absolutely valid in that. I just think that ultimately you can't. I mean, Mex is right. I'm not saying he's wrong either. There, titles get changed in that perspective. But what is the red fight? What does it say to you that this fight at 155? What do you think? Say it. What is Earl Spence doing?
Either he's flexing his A-side power, or he just prefers not to lose those extra 2 pounds that he originally agreed on. But it seems like from Tim Tszú's post, it's playing right into Tim Tszú's hand. I think Tim Tszú intended on moving up to 160. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yo, Mario, I need to get going. I was just
Yeah,
in here
I
just to put
Right,
my
I'm
point
sorry.
through. So I'll be seeing you again soon, and just enjoy your day. All right. Have a nice day, guys.
Hey, I appreciate you, champ. Thank you so much, bro. That was oh shit. That was Alex. Combat sports fan extraordinaire. I want to read this real quick from Supermex. He said the fight was at 158 and thinking about acclimation because he's traveling and adjusting to a different part of the equator for a non-title bout. Why drain yourself even further? Okay. I always used to get heat when I worked for the Boxing Voice, and I would go on and people would say, you're a flip-flopper. You don't stand on business. You give too much empathy to the other side. Okay. This is what I do. This is who I am. All right. I'm a Libra at the end of the day. Whether you believe that or not, it absolutely represents who I am. So when I say these things and I'm going back and forth, I'm not trying to appease Alex or appease Mex. I am seeing the validity in their arguments. And this is the most valid argument I've seen thus far in this conversation. It's not to say Alex is wrong. It's not to say that Mex is right. It is to say that this is a very important point that Mex is making in this argument, because if you haven't seen, we should watch maybe we'll do it tomorrow. The face-off was great. Right? Shout out to Sean Porter. Did a good job, I think. It wasn't no Showtime era shit that we used to get, but whatever. I think, remember when Sergio Martinez and Chavez had their face-off? I want to watch that just for the lulz, dude. Oh man, what a great, boxing is not like that anymore. I hate that. Anyway, this is a very fair point, right? Porter asked Spence, why go over there? Why? You could have stayed here, made all this money, right? You could have fought in front of your hometown fans. You wouldn't have had to travel. You wouldn't have got acclimated to a different time zone. You wouldn't have to be acclimated to, I don't know what Australia's atmosphere is like, but it's like different everywhere, right? It's like Colorado. You're going to go to the mountains. You're going to go to Big Bear. Like the atmosphere, or not the atmosphere. What is it? What is it? The atmosphere? What changed? Like the oxygen levels change, right? But why? Because it's more dense. I don't remember, whatever. But I know that fighters, back in the day or even today, they would go to Big Bear to get that evaluation. God damn it. Am I having a stroke? Evaluation. God damn it. What is going on, dude? I think I'm having a stroke. What is it? Elevation. Good God. That is not going to be clipped well. I'll be honest. Elevation. So that you could practice at Big Bear, or get, your lungs stronger. Lungs are a muscle at the end of the day. You have to train them as you would biceps or leg muscles or anything else. And cardio is better at those altitudes, because the work that let's say I run 5 miles every day for a month, right? And I do it here in Corpus Christi. The benefit to doing that same work in Colorado or Big Bear is that I would be gaining more from the same workout. So all of that is to say that Spence going over there in the first place is giving up a certain thing, right? And that doesn't even speak to the narratives that we've had over in boxing about, not crooked judge, but like hometown cooking and like going to the UK. Everybody remembers the, Durrell fight and the comments he made after that fight in the UK and saying he'd never go back and it's crooked and blah, blah. And so in that, you ask yourself, like, if Spence is going to test himself in all these other ways, then what acclamation should be made for that? That's fair. It's fair. It's to say, okay, well, you're getting this benefit, so I'm going to get this benefit. I don't know if weight classes should be altered the way they get altered, right? But it is what happens, right? Manny Pacquiao had an entire career of it. Canelo has a reputation, as Alex alluded to earlier. And so all these guys who have gotten the reputation of like weight bullies or whatever, right? The A sides, like Tank, trying to manipulate aspects of the fight so that they can have an advantage. We saw that with Floyd Mayweather and Marquez in a major way, where that fight was supposed to be contested at a certain weight class. Mayweather, I think like 2 weeks out, knew he wasn't going to make it, and then try to renegotiate at the last minute to up the weight. And that's what ended up happening. Marquez lost. Floyd looked great. And would he have looked that great if he had to drop those extra pounds? I don't know. I'm not saying he wouldn't have. I'm saying that it would have affected him. To what degree? No one can know. But it does affect you. It does affect you for sure. So this is such a good point, I think, honestly. Listen, it is been an hour and 33. We are at 5:30 p.m. Oh shit. Yep, never even turned on my live on IG. Well, I am an idiot. So, listen, so I'm going to tell you all, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go now, sign off, and we will be back in about 2 or 3 hours, about 7:30, 8:30, somewhere around there. And what we're going to be doing tonight on this channel is teaching boxing. That's right. I'm teaching everybody boxing, but I'm doing it through my niece Mackenzie. So she's gonna come over. We're gonna do some target mitts. I'm gonna show her some stuff. I've been wanting to get her on live just to kind of like get her out of the house because she's still in summer mode and college and work are coming up really fast. And to be honest with you, I've always been worried about that because I struggled a lot in that switch over, and so did my brother. Like once you are in a position where you have baseball in school and you have to pass school to play baseball, that puts you in a mode where you are always doing the shit you're supposed to do, or maybe not always, but in a routine, in a having a goal, working towards that goal. And when you get out of high school, it's like, what do I do? And there's no immediate drive. I mean, for some people there is, right? But she's fortunate enough to have grown up better off than we were. And so, she's got a TV and an Xbox and a phone and all the things that, kids would want to buy if they didn't have that money and they would have to go make that money. And she's worked. She's had jobs. She's also like selling clothes too online, like going to like thrift stores and buying shit and cleaning it up and stuff like that. I forgot what website she uses, but anyway, I've been wanting to teach her more, especially because like she's getting older. Self-defense is something that I think honestly they should put it in school. They should make like we should have a law that you have to teach self-defense in school, at least by the time they're juniors or seniors. And so I'd like to equip her with the kinds of skills that would protect her when, we're all not around. So, yeah, we're going to be working on some target mitts. We're going to be working on some other stuff, probably maybe some like workout stuff and agility stuff. But yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to come back. Also, I think we're going to do a watch along. I don't know how long she's going to stay though. And also I have some other work I have to finish for the website. Yeah. But we will be back in a couple hours. And here's the other thing. If we don't end up doing the watch along, we'll end up probably streaming or probably gaming. So we'll be live on Twitch. We'll be live on YouTube. Maybe we'll come back to X, but maybe not. I'll have to see if we are in a position to do that. But I appreciate everybody who tapped in. I appreciate everybody who's watching live. By the way, I appreciate so much the subscribes that are coming in. I'll be honest, it's been kind of a bummer over the last this past year because, back last May we lost our channel and, the numbers were they were peaking, dude. And so it was like a really big bummer for me. And I just kind of hadn't really been in a situation where I'd ever really gotten over it, I think, until like, last couple months. And I've noticed that as I've gotten over it and as I'm like okay with everything now, everything's starting to pop. And like, not just for me, Machine Gun Matt's doing his thing. Fucking love it, dude. He's getting so much love over there on TikTok. And people really resonate with his stuff. And so it's like, man, I'm in a position right now where I could cry and bitch and complain, or I can just keep going. So I've been like, yeah, I'm just going to keep going. Like, what's the big deal? Ever since I took that stance, dude, the numbers have changed. I've subs everywhere are coming in. Last 2 weeks mostly have been significant, but the live viewership, everything is up. Everything is up, and maybe it's my consistency, or maybe it's just me not appearing to be a bitch all the time about the community that we lost. But as we build it up, I feel like I'm very blessed, right? My community isn't huge, but I have Dan the Man taps in. I have fucking Supermex, who's been in this business for almost as long as I have. I got Machine. I have all these people who make this show so much more amazing than I could ever even do by myself, right? Abe taps in, all these people. And so I know that it's not just me. I know that it's not just the show itself. The community is really what's starting to grow. And I'm really liking what this community looks like. They're good people that are funny, that are smart, bring interesting things to the table. That said, if you've yet to tap in as a caller, if you've yet to tap in as a chatter, do not feel timid. Do not feel like you wouldn't be accepted, or that your questions or statements or dumb or not up to par, whatever. That's just not even close to the truth. Every day I've said something fucking stupid on this show, right? Every day I've said something that's completely wrong, and I will continue to do so. This show will always be, my goal for it will always be not to be right and y'all wrong or whoever else wrong, but to get to a common truth together. So if you come on this show and completely obliterate what I'd been saying for the last hour, and it makes sense, then I'm glad. I'm happy to look stupid as long as the truth comes out on these airwaves. And if you know where I spent a lot of my career, you'll know why that's important to me. That's all I'm going to say on that. But either way, I appreciate everybody still. Infight and FX, all the subs, all the follows, all the people that have been tapping in lately. Shout out to them. Go to Machine Gun Matt's channel on YouTube and Twitch. TBR, talking about radio with Matt Garces. He is absolutely killing it. Baseball, football, boxing, soccer, it doesn't matter. He's talking about it. And also, they've been doing these story times after the show too. They're really fun and super funny. Still, I will be back. We'll be back in about an hour and a half, maybe 2. And that will, I didn't go live from there. Or I did go live. I did go live from there, but I forgot to hit live. So it didn't go live. Because on IG, you have to go live on the platform, and then you have to go live on this, and then you have to go live like on there too. So like if I go live from here, Twitch automatically is connected, YouTube's automatically connected, X is automatically connected, Facebook's automatically connected. But with IG, it's the only one you have to go and turn on. So that's why that happened. But either way, we appreciate it. Infighting FX on all platforms, YouTube, X, TikTok, and Twitch. Remember, we'll be live on YouTube and Twitch tonight, so you make sure you want to sub and follow and turn on those notifications. As for IG, you can go to @Mario Munguia, MARIOMUNGIA. There's no second U. Don't do that to me. And so go there and you can follow my personals. And yeah, that's about it. So we will see you in a couple hours. I will have a guest. And till then, peace.